Hey everyone, John here, and I'm going to be talking to you about our CCE trip to the Arizona-Mexico border and how it has changed my thoughts, opinions, and knowledge. I'd like to start by saying that my initial viewpoint of immigration has not really changed since the CCE trip and the experiences that we had, except for I would definitely say I have more respect for the journey that these immigrants are taking. I had no idea that there were so many border patrol out there now, nor did I know about the funneling effect that was going on, putting them into the desert in much more deadly situations. Um, that also had a terrain that was very different from what I was expecting. Um, and I still personally do not blame them for coming here legally in order to help their families because it's just simply too hard to do it legally. When it comes to some of the things that I have learned over the experience, I'd like to start with our speakers that we had. We did have a very good range of speakers and their viewpoints, from Guadalupe, who talked about the history that has led up to our current situation, that being that I have not had a lot of history classes since high school, I did not know much about. And then another would be Todd, the author, who gave us a nice summary and overall perspective of the current Border Patrol situation. I think that having all these sources and multiple viewpoints about immigration, it truly does help you better understand the situation and the issues, along with helping you either change or decide what your true belief is and what you honestly think about the situation. Now, while we did have more speakers than what I am mentioning, two other ones I would like to talk about is Isabel and Dario. Now, Isabel gave us a very nice legal perspective to the whole thing and how our legal system is treating this current immigration problem, if you want to call it that. Uh, and she also gave us good insight as to what to expect when it comes to Streamline, which was very helpful, uh, seeing as I'll talk later about it. It was a very interesting trip that we took, that the explanations did help us understand it a little better. Now, Dario, in my opinion, was probably the most important speaker because he was able to give us that true sense of what it is like to deal with this problem firsthand, with him and his family and all the hardships that they went through, and with his mom almost being deported and not seeing his brother for years. I really think that uh, his story and speech really touched us all in a way, and I think that we all remember him to some extent because of his speech to us. And again, I'd like to reiterate that having all these different viewpoints and perspectives of what is going on and getting information on different things like the Border Patrol from Todd, or the legal side, or just straight up firsthand experience from Dario, it really does help you understand the situation better, um, and possibly make you change your viewpoint on what is actually going on. Now, I'd like to talk about the wall and the trip we took to that, because that is definitely where I had some of the most strong feelings come about. Um, but yet, it's very hard to explain exactly what it felt like. My personal opinion being that some sort of wall is necessary, I truly believe, uh, has not changed because of the trip to the wall or the experience as a whole, but it did give me a very weird feeling actually standing there viewing the wall firsthand. And I think what I can attribute to that personally is seeing the exact opposite things on each side of the wall. Now, On our side, it's just the like dirt road that we were walking on, so that border patrol can constantly patrol it, looking for people coming over. And then when you look on their side, it was just their homes and a city street that was used for daily life, and it it was just almost like they viewed it as it wasn't even there sometimes. Like they just went about their day even though the wall was right in front of them. And then we're on this side just constantly looking at the wall, making sure that no one comes over. It was a very weird thing to see, and it gave me some weird feelings. Uh, on top of that, and this may be the finance coming out of me, but if it's true that we have spent billions and billions of dollars on this wall, it did not come across as very impressive to me. Uh, it's more of a fence, in my opinion, and unless I just don't know the how much it actually costs to make that current wall that we have. If not, then I would like to know where that money is going, because it's kind of hard for me to believe that that is tens of billions of dollars. Next thing I'd like to talk about is our desert walk that we took. It was definitely very interesting and eye-opening as well. As I mentioned earlier, it was a very different terrain than I was expecting. I was one of those that thought it was just this very open area that was just, very hot, nothing there. But it turns out that there's a lot of stuff like cacti and bushes and all kinds of stuff that act as obstacles in your way, making it harder to get through. Um, and also, as I said before, I definitely gained a new perspective on the journey that these people are willing to take and are taking. Um, and it definitely challenges me to think if I would be able to do the same thing from their same situation. And then I also like to touch on Ed real quick and how him and the people that are associated with him, what they do with like putting out water and providing aid. It was very nice to hear that. Honestly, I mean, the when he said he's transported a couple, I was like, ooh, that you are pushing it there, Ed. But nevertheless, the things that him and I believe the Samaritans are doing, it definitely was very inspiring to hear what they were doing for them. Next thing I'd like to talk about real quick is when we went to see Operation Streamline. This was definitely something that if we just talked about in a classroom, it would definitely be hard to actually picture what this process was actually like. So seeing it firsthand was very helpful for me, at least. Um, Seeing a court procedure go that way was very strange, with everything almost being like a pre-recording. Everyone knew what to say and do along the way, except one man who was either confused as to what he was supposed to be doing, or just confused as to why what was going on was going on. I guess we'll never actually know for sure, but um, in the end, again, if it's true that the amount of millions and millions of dollars a month it takes to run this operation, it seems like just a big waste of time and money for everyone involved. I mean, these guys are just going in, saying they're guilty, put in jail for a couple months, sent back, and they're just coming right back. And some of these guys, it's so many times, it's like we're spending money to have them just keep coming back, and this doesn't seem to be solving any problems. So I really wish that they would take a closer look at this and decide a better way to use money. For this part of the video, I'd like to quickly talk about my definition of culture and then also about borderlinks. When it comes to my definition, it is pretty simple in that to me it means an individual's or a group of people's way of life. There is no right or wrong culture, other than those of terrorists, probably, of course. But I guess that I think that while the wall is there to prevent terrorism, as many say, it's gone beyond that, in my opinion, to simply just keeping out everyone for some reason, including the really good people like Dario and his family, who were just trying to be here to work and live a better life. Um, and Borderlinks did a good job of talking about and showing us all the various viewpoints and perspectives on the issue, which definitely helped give me at least a more complete understanding about the culture that they have and what they're just what they're trying to accomplish by coming here. Culture really does matter because being that the U.S. is the melting pot of the world, uh, we need to not only be aware that there are a lot of different cultures here, but we need to be more understanding and accepting of them as well. Lastly, I would just like to touch on how I've always been pretty accepting of other cultures. That's never been a real problem for me, but this experience definitely did help me gain an even better one of our neighbors to the south, which is also carrying some extra importance to me personally, being that I do have Mexican family, so I can now better understand some of their culture and mine as well. Uh, but the overall experience was very interesting and a lot of fun, and I think that I can speak, or at least hope, at least I can speak for everyone in saying thank you to Borderlinks for the time they spent with us and the things they did with us. We really all did have a fun time together. So, this is John signing out. Thank you, everyone.